My name is Shashwat Sehgal with the Wake Up Bag Solutions podcasting, and today I have
Shashwat Sehgal. I'm the founder and CEO at P0 Security.
Can you tell me a little bit more about yourself and tell me a little bit about how P0 Security is a service right now? How can you tell me a little bit more about your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started P0 a little over 3 years ago, and we started the company because we personally saw how difficult it was to manage privileged access in a cloud native world where there were identities all over the place and it was never clear who had access to what. And we started with the simple idea that access should be managed not using authentication, not using network-based controls, but instead using authorization instead. And fast forward to today, what we are building is a next-gen PAM that is built on the core principle of managing authorization for users, agents, and workloads at scale.
Okay. So what was your motivation to start this business, or were you the one to start the business?
Yes, we started the company. We personally saw that this was a big pain point for any B2B SaaS company or a security, and any company that was that was building applications in a cloud environment in a regulated industry, and off-the-shelf solutions, including vaults, including bastions, were not good enough, either from a security perspective or a usability perspective. And that's when we decided, okay, there's probably a better way to solve this problem.
Okay, I see. So you seen an issue in an enterprise, you seen an issue in a B2B situation, and that was your motivation to start everything
Exactly.
else?
Just feeling this problem, feeling this pain as a leader on my own, and that's what led me to go down this route of starting this business. There's just an itch to solve the problem that me and my teams and myself faced at pretty much every company that I'd worked at.
Okay. And what type of background do you have, if you don't mind me asking?
So I've been an engineering and product leader for like 10-15 years before I started P0. I'd worked at a variety of companies, both large and small. And as I progressed through those companies, I appreciated a lot that the new cloud native way of developing applications, or even the agentic way of developing applications, was very, very powerful. But it also created a lot of identity and access challenges which needed to be solved from first principles.
I see. And do you think that you're going to have AI implemented in your services as well?
Absolutely. The reality is that fundamentally what we are doing is we are helping enterprise secure authorization for their identities at scale. And with rapid adoption of AI, two things are happening. The number of identities are exploding. There are agents everywhere. And second, the authorization problem is becoming 10x worse than what it was before, because there are standing permissions everywhere, right? So this combination of identity explosion, identity sprawl, and privilege sprawl, it's something that can only be solved from first principles with a PAM solution that is designed for bringing authorization under control. And that is fundamentally what we're doing.
So what would be the difference for the traditional aspect of it, of PAM, and the way that you're doing stuff?
So the traditional aspect has always been about, hey, create a privileged account, create a password for it, put the password into a vault, and use the password from the vault on demand. That was one way. Another way was put network-based controls, put a bastion, put a proxy, jump host. All of these come in various different names. But the idea behind the two has always been use either authentication controls or network-based controls. And we are of the strong opinion that now both networking and authentication are commoditized, and the biggest unsolved problem that remains, the next frontier for identity, is authorization.
And this is more of a question for you, more personal question. What was the transition for you to being an employee to get into the business? What was that process? Did you already have that mindset before?
Yeah, I mean, I always had that mindset. I don't think it was a big transition, right? You just get used to doing more with less. That's the basic idea behind being an entrepreneur. Get used to doing more with less.
And that's a really good mindset. I never thought about it like that. That's a really good scenario how to think about it.
Yeah.
So that is awesome. And I know you mentioned there's some new changes for your company. You have a partnership with somebody. Did you want to give more explanation on that and talk about what was the reason for you to get to this partnership, and what type of issues are going to be resolved?
Absolutely. So yesterday we announced a partnership with Zscaler. Zscaler are also one of our Series A investors, and they have probably the foremost solution in the market for zero trust access. All is ZPA. And once we started talking to them, we realized that ZPA is fantastic at managing private access to enterprise applications, and together with P0, you can extend the zero trust fabric for an enterprise to include cloud resources, to include agentic authorization, and that's what we announced yesterday. A partnership, that a product integration between Zscaler, ZPA, and between P0 that helps our mutual customers extend the reach of their zero trust fabric beyond just VPN or network level access.
And like you mentioned, you recently announced this yesterday, right? Has this been something in the process for a long time?
It's
You guys
been in the
talking
process
about?
for the last 2-3 months, and we were developing this jointly in house, and and that's what we announced yesterday.
And what other things can we see in the future for your company, for P0 Security?
Top of mind for us right now is to keep extending the capabilities of a platform for controlling authorization to agentic identities. So again, the idea being, how can we control the runtime authorization for agents at scale, right?
And another question. So what do you think, I know we're talking about PAM and a little bit of AI as well. What would you say in the future about AI? Well, what do you think about this? Do you think there's any changes on AI moving forward for the future?
I mean, it's unlike anything else I've seen in my career. The rate of innovation, like what was true 6 months ago is not true today. What's true 3 months from now will not be anything like what we have today, right? So what I can say with absolute certainty is this: things will be different,
Yes.
right? But that's not really saying much.
Yes. Do you think it's going to change a lot of things? Like,
Yes.
you think, from you being an engineer now CEO, do you think that you've seen the changes going on?
Absolutely. There will be a lot more changes coming forward. The rate at which some of these models are expanding their capabilities, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable.
That's awesome. And do you think this will also be implemented in your platforms and kind of like tinker with? And is
Yeah.
this something that you're going to be tinker with, or you have some engineers, or something, or both, a combination of both?
We'll be tinkering with it.
And I know we're here in the RSA 2026. What do you think about the RSA 2026 for this year?
It's my favorite security event of the year. The density of sharp security minds in one spot is second to none. It's a great place to have phenomenal conversations, to catch up with old friends, meet new acquaintances, you make new connections for the future, whether those are personal, whether those are professional. I really look forward to it year after year.
That's awesome. Do you see a lot of your friends here, colleagues, maybe some colleagues that you work together,
Absolutely.
now they're business owners?
Yep, absolutely.
Yes, that's awesome. And what do you think about? What would you, if you want to give some advice to somebody that's coming into interested of your platform? What would you tell them? I was like, why would they choose you instead of someone else?
They should choose us if they are facing challenges getting privileged access in any modern cloud or agentic environment under control, and they believe that the right way to solve this is by managing privileges and not by managing credentials.
Okay. And what would you say if would this be also set up on a small business company, medium business company, and a corporate environment as well?
Yeah,
Would it be?
our best customers are those that are in a corporate environment. So, like let's say at least 100 to 200 engineers on staff, and at the low end, and extending all the way to thousands of employees.
Okay, so it's pretty big platform. You can have a lot of people in it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And this is just my curiosity. Do you recommend any audiobooks, any books that for somebody from your being as an engineer to CEO? Do you recommend any advice for anybody?
I read a lot. I can't think of any one book to recommend.
Okay. Do you have any topics by any chance? Any topics that you would kind of see, like, you know what, they should look into this?
I typically tend to read history, historical narratives, or business books, autobiographies.
And just the last thing, do you have any advice for anybody that's watching this podcast? This is going to be for a lot of CISOs, entrepreneurs, CTOs, entry levels, something that you want to give some advice to somebody, even a business owner.
Just do it.
I like that. I love it. And thank you again. And my name is Shashwat Salazar with the Wake Up X Solutions. Thank you again for everything. P0 Security, I appreciate for the opportunity of giving this interview. And do you want to mention anything before we cut off?
No, great meeting you. Love to, always connect with the community. So looking forward to this.
Awesome.